All right, Shalom, giving all glory, all praise, all honor to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Mashiach Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chakodash, the blondest to the apostles, and the elders, a great millstone, peace, mercy, and grace to the household of faith, the elect. Gonna do a video talking about inauguration, the history, the origin, real short, real quick. Gonna play this clip to start off. Gonna read a little bit on this article dealing with the origin of it. Bring out a few scripts, Lord willing, satisfying.
Congratulations, America, you've got a new president. The new president isn't actually official until the inauguration at noon on January 20th. That's the exact date and time called for by the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. It all begins with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court swearing in the new president. The tradition of placing the right hand on the Bible was started by George Washington. However, 3 presidents have opted to do without a Bible: John Quincy Adams, Franklin Pierce, and Teddy Roosevelt. The band plays Hail to the Chief. Then there's the inaugural speech.
My fellow citizens.
My fellow citizens.
My fellow citizens.
The inaugural speech sets the tone for a presidency, and if they're done right, inspire generations. During his second inaugural address, Abraham Lincoln sought to stitch the nation back together. With malice towards none, with charity towards all, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds. He would be assassinated barely a month later. JFK passed the torch to a new generation when he said,
"Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country."
After the speeches, the day ends with an inaugural ball, a tradition started by President James Madison and his wife, Dolly. While all this is going on, the White House goes through a complete transformation. In just a few hours, all the former president's belongings are removed and the new president's furnishings are moved in. By the end of the day, when the new commander-in-chief walks into the White House, it will seem like they've always been there.
All right, cool. So let's deal with the word inauguration. Inauguration derives from the Latin word inaugurare, meaning to consecrate or to take the auspices. Consecrate means to make, separate or holy. And the Latin is the language that was spoken by the Roman Empire, which is important to know. It says inauguration refers to the formal ceremony or event that marks the start of a period of an office, especially for a high-ranking official such as president or monarchy. Typically involves an oath or pledge as well as other rituals or events. The concept of inauguration originated in ancient Roman religious practices. Before undertaking important tasks or expeditions, Roman priests would consult the auspices or signs from the gods to determine whether the undertaking would be successful. This practice was known as Inauguratio. Okay, so the Roman priests would consult the auspices. Now, what are auspices? Let's look that up. Auspices. A divine or prophetic token. Okay, meaning with the help or support of someone. So pretty much their counsels, their spiritual counsels. So, so their priests would consult their counsels, or signs from the gods. They had multitude of gods. That's why you got the days of the week that we follow today, which goes back to the Romans. You got the Monday, moon day, Tuesday, which is Mars Day, which is devoted to Mars. Wednesday, which is devoted to Mercury. Thursday, which is synonymous with Jupiter. Friday, which is synonymous with Venus. Saturday, which is synonymous with Saturn. And then Sunday, which is to the sun. Over time, Inauguratio came to be associated with the investiture of new officials. In Republican Rome, the inaugural ceremony involved sacrificing to the gods and receiving their blessings. The tradition of inauguration was carried over into the Roman Empire, where it became a grand and elaborate event, just like today. This isn't a grand and elaborate event. They're talking about this all over the world. Emperors and high-ranking officials were inaugurated with great pomp and circumstance, including sacrifices, processions, and speeches. The practice of inauguration spread throughout Europe during the Middle Ages and Renaissance. Monarchs and other rulers were inaugurated with ceremonies that drew inspiration from both Roman and Christian traditions. All right, so That's pretty much it. So, scriptures. Let's start with Daniel 7. Vision of the fourth beast, Daniel 7 and 7. It says, after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the other beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. This is a representative of the Roman Empire. And it had that great iron teeth, that great military force, military power. It was the sword. The Greeks were known for, even though they had a great sword, and the Lord was with them to overcome the Persians and Medes. The Greeks went down as being known for their philosophy. The Romans are known for their military, because even Jake, went to we went to the Romans for help against the Greeks. When you go to First Mac, chapter 8, let me see. And 1, it says, now Judas had heard of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them. Yeah, and that's what ended up happening in this chapter. We ended up going to them for, we made a treaty with them. They would come to our defense, and vice versa, for help against the Greeks. See, that's a letter, those last such and such verses, and even at verse, well, that's beside the point, but this stuff we already know. But we know that the Senate is what made it diverse. But then when you read verse 8, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. Yeah, another little horn. So now we're getting into Babylon the Great, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Yep, because the 3 horns that established the United States under Esau was the Spanish, the British, and the French. And then they got plucked up so that, what we call the United States of America could be established, which gained its independence from one of the horns, which was the British. It says, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. And that's what you see here is a bunch of blasphemies and great prideful boastings. Revelation 13 and 3, it says, and I saw one of the heads as it were wounded to death. I'm gonna start at the top. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And all this is, at the end of the day, is Esau's various empires, his joint rulerships and vassal states that made his system what it is today. Verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, which represents the Greeks, and his feet were as the feet of the bear, which represent the Russians, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, which represent the British. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority, which represent the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire established and stamped, Esau's, seat in authority and power in the earth. And that's why even Babylon the Great comes in the image and likeness and spirit of the Roman Empire. That's why Elon Musk and them, they talking that Roman Empire shit. It's a lot of, you had the TikTok thing that was going trendy for a while is about the men, girls talking about their boyfriends talking and thinking about the Roman Empire and shit. If you remember that was like last year or the year before. Verse 3, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. What, that Roman Empire head? It says, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Yep, so it fell in 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire. Then it came back via the Renaissance, which Renaissance means the rebirth. The rebirth of what? The Greco-Roman philosophies, ideologies, gods, customs, Inauguration Day, and that system. Verse 4, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with the beast, right? Who can take the white man down? Who could take down, the United States, with its NATO and EU alliance? Who can take this down? Then I got another one, 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter, because this all proves that Esau is in rulership and we at the end. The fact that they're still practicing, Roman, Greco-Roman traditions and the likes. 2nd Esdras 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. That's why, Ezekiel 37, the dry bones coming to life. That's why we come to life and inspired to talk about this and diligently speak these things and go into these scriptures and break them down this way, because Jacob is about to get ready to come into his blessing, the kingdom of heaven, his inheritance. The Lord is about to get ready to take us out of captivity and set us up over the nations, and take us back home, where we're going to enforce law, statutes, and commandments over the earth and get this thing back in order. But he's allowing Esau, the man of sin, to ruin it. And he did ruin it. And now he's being revealed, like it says, the spirit of the Lord's mouth and shall consume him with the brightness at his coming, through his only begotten son and the Holy Host. So, this is just more proof that, these people are who we say they are. And it's proof that the Romans were Edomites. People know that. People know that the Romans were actually Edomites. Let me just type that in. Were the Romans Edomites? See what comes up. The first thing to come up, Esau, the ancestor of Rome. The Edomites, from Esau to Edom to Idumea. Esau and Rome. Esau, the father of Rome, Greece, and Christianity. Exactly. The Hebrew word Edom means red and is derived from the name of its original founder, whose name was Esau. Look at this. It's out. The untold story of the Edomites, tracing their roots and uncovering their civilization. Lifting their skirt. Okay. The Edomites, giving a little history. Esau moved to Mount Seir, located in modern-day Jordan. Let's see if they go ahead and tell us what we already know. Their capital city, Basra, right, was famous for its impressive fortifications and trade networks. Evidence of civilization can still be seen today in the ruins of Petra, which was a major trading and cultural center of the Edomites. This is a pretty good site, though, thewitness.org. Yeah, I don't think it goes into the wrong portion, but yeah, you see a lot of these. Esau, the ancestor of Rome, that's a hell of a statement. So how did the rabbis come to associate Esau and Edom with Rome? How about that? So I'm gonna go ahead and close there. I'm gonna look into it and I'll do another video if I get something good. But I'm gonna go ahead and close that, man. I just wanted to make that point. On to the next one. Shalom.